We are on day 13 of flower for these 4 plants being grown in the 4x4 grow tent by AC Infinity. They're Chill Out OG F4 generation. None of these are actually keeper phenos. I'm just growing these ones out from seed just to kind of showcase on the channel, and I wanted some additional smoke. But I do have beautiful keeper phenos, both female and male, and I'm moving on to the generation F5. So I'm super excited for that one. In this video, I want to talk about these 4 plants, just give you an update on them. I'm using Stash nutrients on these plants and they're looking fantastic. So we're going to go over the details on that. And we'll also get into other things such as the lighting, environment, we'll go over plant training and more. Let's start off with plant nutrition. These are in 10-gallon fabric grow pots, the AC Infinity ones, and they're reused soil. This is the soil that I've been using for 8 runs. So 8th run now is what I'm on. I did the initial mending with a Stash base. I did 1.25 cups per 10-gallon container. So each container got 1.25 cups of the Stash base. Then what I did was, when flipping the flower, the day of flipping the flower, I top dressed with Stash Bloom. And I did the same amount. I did the 1.25 cups of Stash Bloom. And if you look at the back on the recommendation here, you can see it's 2 to 3 tablespoons per gallon of media. And so the 1.25 cups is actually on the low side, according to this. And plants looking fantastic. Now, one thing to mention is that this is reused soil. So there was some nutrition from previous runs, right? So depending on if you're using an inert medium, for example, or medium that doesn't have as many nutrients in it, you may have to do a little bit higher of a dose than what I did. The only other thing I've been doing is Stash Blend as well. You actually mix it in water. I did 1/2 teaspoon per gallon of water. So I mix that in, and then I give about a 1/2 gallon solution in each of the pots. And I do that every other week. Other than that, it's just been plain water. I'm using the AC Infinity self-watering bases, using those for the first time. Really liking it. It's mixing so much easier when it comes to watering. I haven't been using the autofill valves. I showed those in a video, handful of videos ago. I showed that. I haven't actually installed those yet. So I've actually just been going in and hand watering, or adding water to the bottom of the bases, which I need to actually do right now. If you look down in here, you can see that there is a spot there which shows that it needs water. And so it's looking low right now. So I've got a gallon right here, and I'm just gonna go ahead and water it in. It makes it pretty easy. I put the area where you can water it in closest to me. Sometimes it does kind of spill over if I go in too quickly. But for the most part, I can just kind of drop a gallon right there, let it drain down, and then slowly pour things in. And that's how you water the plant. I don't have to guess on how much water to water in. I can just fill that up as much as it goes. The wick system, it'll actually come upward into the medium as it needs it. So makes things a lot easier when it comes to watering. I do have moisture meters in there. Things have been dialed in at around the 30% mark. Actually, I should say between like 32 and 35% mark is really what these have all been dialed into. And then of course, when I do that top watering with Stash Blend, it does increase a little bit, but it goes back down to that 32 to 35% range. I do also have a mulch layer on top in order to retain that moisture level in the medium. Me living in a very dry climate, that top layer does kind of dry out. And when I'm top dressing these amendments in, I sprinkle it on underneath the mulch layer. So I'll take the mulch layer off, sprinkle in the nutrients, rake it in a little bit, and then oftentimes I'll add in a layer of soil over that, and then I'll add in the mulch layer. Because it's real important to keep those amendments moist for proper breakdown. We really rely on microbes in order to mineralize those nutrients. They break down those nutrients, nutrient cycling, turn them into nutrients that are usable for the plants to absorb. So yeah, I'm really happy with how things are going so far. Nutrition seems to be dialed in. And also lighting's dialed in. Let's talk about that one next. I'm using the Evo 3 LED grow lights. Got 2 of those here in the 4x4 tent, and they're actually only at level 5. So I have it dimmed down quite a bit, and I'm able to achieve 900 ppfd right here in the dead center. Let's actually do a quick par check and I'll show you exactly what I'm seeing. All right, so I actually did dim down the lights in here in order to film. Makes it easier to film. So I'm gonna bump this back up to where it was at 5. I've got 2 different lights on here. So that goes up to 5, and then we'll go into the other light. We'll bump this one up to 5. And so it's going up to 5 right now. And then I'm going to grab my par meter and we'll get a measurement in here. I'm using the Apogee meter. They have a couple of them. I believe this is the MQ610. If I remember correctly, or MQ620. I don't know, I'll put the right one on the screen right now. All right, let's get in here. So this is where I saw the largest bump right here. here, which we're looking at 900 ppfd right here. And then as we kind of get towards the side here, some of these other buds still at 900, just under 900 to 700 as we get more towards the edges of the light, 600. Let's go over here, see where we can get 840, 870. Let's go over here, 720, 700. So the whole thing basically is within that 600 to 900 ppfd range where I like to be in the flowering stage for a 12-12 light cycle, which is what this tent is on. Let's talk about an environment next. So the temperature has been anywhere between 78 and 80 degrees Fahrenheit is typically what this has been holding at, which I'm okay with. In regards to the humidity, I've been keeping it, I actually have it set on the app that if it reaches 63% relative humidity, the exhaust is going to kick on and we're going to get some of that humidity out of here, because I really don't like going much over that 60% relative humidity when I'm flowering. Really want to prevent any type of mold from forming, bud rot in the middle of these buds. I know it's real early in flowering, so you don't really see bud rot this early, but later on in flowering, it's going to be really important to keep that RH low. For those folks that track VPD, it's been between 1.2 and 1.4 kPa. Now, if I were to go up to 1.5, 1.6 kPa, I'd actually be okay with that if it's a little bit drier. Again, to try to prevent bud rot from forming. I've had bud rot a handful of times in the past. I have videos on that if you're interested in seeing what that looks like, how that forms. It is not fun at all to go through your entire grow or almost your entire grow and all of a sudden have mold forming on the inside of the buds and have to throw away all that hard work. So anyways, looking to avoid that here. And as long as I'm keeping that RH lower, ideally below that 60%, which I'll be dropping it down a little bit lower here as we get later in flowering, I should be good to go. Another thing to mention about the relative humidity, I've got a humidifier here. This is the T5 by AC Infinity. This hasn't really kicked on a whole lot. It kicked on a lot when it was in the seedling stage and real smaller plants. But since we've got plants here that are filling up this grow space very nicely, this thing barely kicks on. The plants transpire, they release water vapor into the air. So that's been naturally kind of controlling the humidity in here. So I think I mentioned that one. Definitely want to give a shout out to AC Infinity for being a sponsor of this channel. They're sponsoring this video and they hook up my viewers with a discount code. You can use code MrGrowIt15. That code works on both Amazon as well as a website. So use that if you want to save a few dollars off at checkout. And I'll definitely have a link to AC Infinity, both their website as well as the Amazon account down in the YouTube description section below, along with all the equipment that you see here or that I've mentioned. That'll be linked down in the description section below as well. As far as plant training, all I did was top this plant. I didn't do any other training beyond that. That's one thing with Chill Out OG. It's a very easy to train plant in my opinion, and that's kind of something I somewhat selected for this plant here, is being able to really just top it once and allow these plants to grow naturally and have somewhat even of a canopy. Now, sure, it's not perfect, right? You've got some lower buds here, some things down here, but for me being pretty much hands off, not really doing any low stress training, tying the branches down, for example, this looks fantastic. I'm pretty happy with the uniformity I'm seeing across the footprint. I do have that flexibility if I need to, if some of these plants are growing larger, like these ones seem to be just maybe a little bit taller than these plants, well, I can bring this light up a little bit more and keep this light a little bit low. So I've mentioned that in past videos before, where I do like having the flexibility to have multiple lights so I can adjust them according to how big the plants are. Another thing about plant training is defoliation and lollipopping. So I did do that actually before flipping to flower, and they've quickly grown back to where I'm going to need to get in there and do some more defoliation and probably another light lollipopping to clean up those lowers there. I'll probably do that around day 20, 21, something like that. That's when typically the stretch stops. So the plants stop growing vertically. And then I can get in there, do one final defoliation to where I'm removing some of these leaves that are in the middle that are preventing airflow from getting through the canopy. Don't want any hot spots or humid spots forming in the middle of the canopy. Don't want any issues arising from that happening. So I'll definitely be doing another defoliation and lollipopping here when the stretch stops. If you are new to growing cannabis organically, you can pick up my book. It's on Amazon or my website, MrGrowIt.com, Organic Cannabis Cultivation. This is a beginner to intermediate guide for growing organically. Pick this up, it's a good read, gives you lots of information on what to do on the different stages of growth and just a lot of things that you'll need if you want to take that step into growing in an all natural fashion. That's pretty much it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace out.